So in this class, I'm going to teach you about how to create orthographic views of a line. So we are dealing with the projection of lines. So read the problem once. So we have a line PQ which is 80 mm long. So that line is inclined to 30 degrees to VP and is parallel to HP. The NP of the line is 20 above HP and 40 in front of VP. So we need to draw the projections and determine its traces. So we know the position of point P, and also we know the true inclination with VP and true length of line PQ. So let me start with the XY line. So since we are constructing the lines, so use construction option from the layers. So I'm using the same template that we created. So let's opt for construction line. So randomly I'm going to create a XY line. So see that the auto is switched on so that I can draw horizontal lines. Press escape. Now, so let me drag this. So now I'm going to create locus lines because you know the in front, sorry, the above distance of point P and also in front of distance of point P. So I'm using locus lines initially. So let me initially draw the end projectors. Okay, end projector of P. So before that, let's name the XY line. So use text.
Sir, screen share అవ్వాలనుకుంటా sir.
Okay. So let's draw a locus line. Before that, as already told, I'm going to create a text. So representing the XY line. So change the text style to naming. So which we already created now. So I will name it as X. Just copy this. Control C. Control V is to paste. So I will name this as XY. Let's mark HP and VP. So just I will paste it and edit this text. So at present I'm randomly pasting them. Later you can readjust so that you can save space because you are going to put different problems in the same sheet now. So you need to adjust the spacing later. So at present I just created an XY line. So now for my convenience I will draw a random end projector. So since you know the position of point P, I will consider that end projector as end projector of P. So I will stick to construction option from the layers. So I will draw a line. So see that you switch on the snap. So I'll pick a point which is nearer to that line and draw. See, you know the above HP distance of point P, no? So let's draw a line which is equal to that much. So they clearly specified that NP is 20 above HP. So I need to draw a line which is 20 mm. So let's add a value there. Since you are drawing vertical lines now, see clearly observe those two boxes. So one box is representing the length, the other one is representing the angle. So since we switched on ortho, angle remains constant, which is equal to 90. So just enter the length, press enter. So if you are not comfortable with the grid, no, let's switch off the grid. So I created an projector. So to represent a point, that means the front view of point P, I will create a point there. So the end point of this line should represent point P. So let's create it. So before that, I'm switching off the snap option. So I'll pick this endpoint. So I created a point there. So I'm able to view that now, differentiate the point. So let me move to under utilities, move to point style. I will add a symbol to that so that I can differentiate the point clearly. So I'm picking a set size in absolute units. Here you need to change the value to 2 for my convenience. So according to the page dimensions, you need to set this value. Click OK. So now you are able to view the point. Now let me draw so this point represents the front view of P. So I will mark front view of, sorry, top view of P now. So you know the in front of distance, which is equal to 40 mm. So this is VP. So here under the XY line, this represents in front of VP distance. So I'll use line option once again. So I'll continue from here. So I'll pick this point as the starting point. So move along the Y direction. So here the length should be 40, angle remains 90. Press enter, escape. So I will create one more point here and mark it as, I'll pick this. See, let's name these 2 points. So add a text box, or you can simply copy this and paste it here. Similarly, I'm going to paste it there. Now edit the text. So this represents the top view. So it should be P, and I will change it to P prime since it represents the front view. So now for my convenience, I will draw a locus line passing through point P so that I maintain the in front and above distance of P. So let me change the layer properties from construction to locus lines. We already defined this using a layer now. So I'm allotting locus line layer. So now let's create a line. So I will start from here. So generally you know the length of the line, no? Yeah, length of line PQ is 80, no? So for my convenience, I will draw or just draw a locus line of a random length. Okay, press escape. Similarly, draw a locus line passing through point P, top view of point P, no? So I'm drawing 2 locus line. So let me recreate it. Press escape. Now, so you know so the line should be inclined to VP, no? So VP inclination you can observe it from the top view. So the angle of inclination should be 30 degrees. So the length of the line should be 80 mm. So initially I will assume that the line is parallel to the XY line, parallel to both VP and HP. So I will draw a line uh, from P. So let's change the initially change the property to uh, construction, or you can so since we are going to create the final views now, I will change this to object, or you can start with the construction, later you can change it to object. So here I'm going to create a line which is equal to 80 mm long. So just move along the x direction. See, since ortho is on, uh, angle remains 0, so you can directly enter the length. So length is equal to 80 now. Press enter. Now I'm going to rotate this line such a way that it makes an angle of 30 degrees with the xy line or with VP. So let's rotate it. So I'll select the line. So see that you pick the correct entity, because see, you have another line which represents the locus line now. So I'm selecting the line which represents 80 mm. So I'll pick this option. Then I will rotate this. So use rotate option. So I need to fix point P, because the in front, I need to maintain in front of distance of P to 40 mm. So I will fix this now. So let's switch off the ortho and add a value. So it should be, so just add a so it should be 30 degrees now. Angle of inclination with VP should be 30 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I will add an angle. So it should be 360 minus 30. So add that. So it should be 330 degrees. Let's check whether you get correct orientation or not. Otherwise, we can redo it again. So I'm adding 330 degrees. So enter. So this looks good. So just use common sense. You can observe it now. This angle uh, is equal to 30 degrees now. So most of the time, it will measure the angle in the counterclockwise. So this angle is 330. So I'm done with the top view. So this end should represent point Q, final view of point Q. See, the property of this is actually I changed the layer to object now, so it's taking properties related to that particular layer. Okay, so this is the final view. That's why I allotted object layer. Okay, so now let me add a point here. So I'm choosing a point. So let's mark this point and create a point. So this should represent the top view of Q. So I will name it after creating the front view. So I'm done with the top view. Now let me draw the front view. So here I'm going to create a construction line. So let's change it to object, because I'm projecting the end projector now. So change it to construction line. So switch on the ortho so that you can draw a vertical line. So use line option. So I'm selecting this point as a starting point. So let's draw a line. So see that it crosses the line. Later you can trim it. So I'll create a line. Now you can trim the lines by using trim option. If you want, you can leave it like that, or if you want to save space, you can go for trim option. So I will trim this part of the line, locus line, and this part of the construction line. I'm also trimming this. Press escape. So now this point represents the point of intersection, represents the the front view of Q. So I will mark this point. Press escape. So now I need to draw the front view. Use line option and draw a line, or otherwise in this case you can convert this into a construction into a true geometry, or you can convert it into an object. So I'm I'm just selecting this line, and I'm changing the property to object in this case. Press escape. So let's add text to that. I'm just copying it and pasting it here. So see that you switch on both the object snap, snap and auto. So I will just override this to Q. So this is a front view now. So it represents the, it should be with prime. I'll save the changes. Similarly, I will add a text here. So it should be Q. So I'm done with the projections. So let's add the dimensions. So I'm opting for a dimension option. See, you know the true length should be equal to 80. So let's project it and place it here. And you know the true inclination, so which will be visible in the top view. Press escape. See, I'm doing it under construction. Okay, so dimension should be done under construction option. Press escape, or once again I choose dimension option. I will mention the angle. I need to mention the angle now. So I will select these two entities separately. So specify the angle. Press escape. Now I need to mark the traces now. So how do you mark the trace? Just extend this line, XY line. So switch on the ortho so that I can stretch along the X direction. So for my convenience, I'm stretching this. Okay. So I'll select this entity. I'm creating the traces. So I need to extend this line such a way that it should intersect the XY line. So let me extend this line. So initially I will convert this into a construction geometry. Okay, I will extend the line. Later I will draw a new line to represent the final top view. So initially let me change it to construction line. So I will extend this line such a way that it touches the XY line. So see, I'm unable to stretch this because see, maybe it is crossing this. So initially I will extend this line. Okay, now let me try. So see, it is crossing the limits. So I will extend this. Okay, see, it is touching this XY line now. So let's move the whole. So since it is out of the boundary, I will readjust the sketch. So I will select all the entities related to these projections. So let's select the remaining entities individually. Okay, I will move them. So let's pick a reference point and drag it such a way that you place it in the space. Press escape. See, I will delete this initially. So this is the actual construction line, which I'm using it for representing the traces. So now I need to let me create one more line to represent the final view. So for that, I will change the property to object. So create a line. Let me pick this point as a starting point. So I can't pick this now. So because I switched off the snap. Okay, and see that you switch off the auto off. So I'll pick this point. Okay, I'll pick the intersection point. I'll start from here and I will end it here. Press escape. So I will convert only this as a object. This remains construction line. Press escape. Now, so in order to create a trace now, I will extend this line. Sorry, I need to draw a vertical. So I will switch on the ortho. So let's draw a line. So starting from this point, then you need to extend the top view. So once again, I will create the top view later. So let me change this property to construction, and now I'm going to extend it such a way that it touches this. So use extend option. So let me select this. So automatically it'll touch this. So that's enough. So this point should represent the horizontal trace. So let me mark this. So let's represent that with a point. So I will pick this point. Okay. So I need to create one more entity now. So final construction line. Sorry, object now, front view. So I will change it to object. So press escape, change it to object and create a line joining these 2 points. So I will pick this and this one. Escape. So this is picking as object. Okay. So let's add dimensions. So I need to show the dimension to with respect to this line now. So I'm choosing dimension. Let's select this line and drag it. So I don't want to have the horizontal and vertical. I need to have align dimension. So if you can't pick it, you can just drop down and pick aligned dimension. Let's select this. Pick this. So let's select this line, or you can simply select distance between 2 points. So I'll specify. I'll check. Take this distance. So it shows 80. So I need to mention the distance between these entities now. So you can trim this. So let me trim it first. So actually I'm pick wrong option. Just pick trim option. Okay. Press escape. So yeah. So this represents 30 degrees now. So I need to show the in front and above distances. So let me use dimension. So I'll pick this line. So add the dimension here. Similarly, specify the in front of distance. So I will select this object. So you can mark it here. So this is how we can project the lines. So to take a printout, let's check whether we did it perfectly or not. So let me use layout. So press escape. Okay. So this looks good. You can realign it if you want to save space. So to realign it, first initially I will stretch this. See that ortho is on, so that it remains horizontal. So I'll drag these two entities. Then I'm going to move these three entities at a time. So I'm picking all three entities. Use move. So I'll pick a random point as a reference. So I'll place it here. Okay. So once you are done with this, if you want to accommodate space, so I can create a group and move them to a particular corner so that you can solve another problem within the sheet. So I will select all the entities, okay, related to this. Okay, use move option. I will pick a random point on the screen. So see that you switch off the ortho. So let's readjust this to the corner. So I think these those things are going away from the. So let's press undo. So you know how to do it now. So you can do it on your own. Yeah. So we are done with this. So this point, no, this is the actual trace. So this should be the vertical trace. Okay. So this represents the front view of the vertical trace, and this point represents the top view of the vertical trace. So let me mark this point. Okay. So let's take a printout. So escape, use layout. Okay. So just right click on layout, use plot. So I'll leave the default values as we already selected. We already adjust this in the template now. So you can leave the default values. Let's go for. So here I'm going to convert the drawing into PDF. So I'm picking this. Then click OK. So I'm naming it as projection of lines. See, we make a. I think we made a mistake. See, the dimensions now are produced under uh, construction geometry. Sorry, under object. So you can change those settings. So I will move back to model space. So let's change the style of the dimensions to. Actually, it's being construction, but I don't know why it's dark. Okay, so press escape. Let's select this. So this is actually showing it as an object. So I will change this to construction. Similarly, I will change this dimension to construction. This line, press escape. Select this line, change it to construction. So you can observe. Just first check the PDF. If you are satisfied, you can take a printout. Otherwise, make the necessary changes. Then moving back to construction. Okay, let's check this length. So length is also specified as object. I'll change it to construction. So I think this looks good. So let me uh, close that, close the page, and use the same name to take a printout. So we'll check it first. So use plot. Everything looks good. Then click OK. So I'll convert the drawing into PDF. Click OK. So I'm using the same option. Click Save. See, now this looks good. So only these two entries should be dark. Remaining should be thin. See, this is a locus line.